Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this video, you're going to hear our interview with the famous Foley artist Richard Hinton, who worked on numerous famous documentaries such as Our Planet. He's going to share how do you get into doing Foley artist and what are the skills you need as a Foley artist. This is how real life works, and this is a channel where we talk about all the things that the school didn't teach you.
What would be your advice if somebody wanted to start and get into this career?
Probably the first thing I would say is watch a lot of television. And as you're watching, just try and pat out with your hands people's rhythm. Or if it's a natural history documentary, try and learn the way animals move by, patting out with your hands. Try and follow the rhythm of the feet. If you're walking down the street, you've got to be careful when you do this, because if somebody spots you, they might question what you're up to. But try and follow somebody down the street and try and match their feet, not by looking at their feet, but by watching their shoulder movement. And that's really, really important. Because if you think about a lot of television, film and drama, you don't always see people's feet. They're obviously shot from the waist up or from the neck up.
Right.
And they can still be walking. So you still need to be able to get their feet in sync. But you need to get their feet in sync just by watching the movement of their body rather than their actual feet. And their shoulder movement usually matches what the feet are doing.
I never thought of this. Really?
Yeah, absolutely. So those, from a starting point of view, those are golden tips. If you can match somebody's feet from watching their shoulder, and doing the shoulder thing is a really cool thing to do. It's really good fun. I did it loads when I started. I'd pop out for lunch and I'd just be following people down the street. And I'd be trying to match their feet with their shoulder movement. And once I felt I was in, I'd look down at their feet quickly to see if I was correct or not. And but it's good to be quite a few paces behind, just in case they do stop and turn around.
Did anyone ever catch you doing that?
Yeah, a couple of people.
Wait, yeah, what is this? Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, before you became a Foley artist, you were the follow artist.
I like that. That's good, yeah.
Follow artists.
A bit
on the
creepy,
streets.
perhaps, but...
So this is more like a self-study, but do you think that people should look for internships? Are there a lot of internships for Foley artists? Or should they start as a sound engineer because it's more, more in demand, more popular?
It's a tricky thing to say. I mean, I can only really speak from how I know the industry is in the UK, really, because it'll vary. I dare say it's similar across the world. Usually the way in is to go for like a runner's position. So you'll end up making the tea, the coffee, going out for people's lunch, etc., with a post house facility, specifically a post house, because you can get a runner's job with production, but they'll be more about location filming and doing the actual filming stuff. So you need to get a runner's job with a post house. You need to start talking to the dubbing department straight away, and certainly at your interview as a runner, you say, "Look, I'm really passionate about sound. I'm really interested in dubbing editor, dubbing mixing, and/or Foley." Foley especially sounds like it could be interesting to me. So you'll be making tea and coffee. And the good thing about runners' positions, and they're a goldmine, and people should never overlook them as just making tea and coffee. You make contacts. And the media industry is all about contacts, So if you show keen and willing and you're polite and not too pushy, a dubbing mixer might let you sit in on a dub if it's not client attended. The Foley team might let you sit in on a Foley session if it's not attended. Foley sessions are very rarely attended. So Foley's a really good one to try and get in on. And they'll say, look, because runners' positions are usually shift work. You have early runners, mid-runners and late runners, because television is like a 24-hour business. So our doors are pretty much always open. So there's always a downshift time where you're not working, which is within usual business hours, where you'll be able to sit in on a session. And that is what I would recommend as a starting point for getting in. Start chatting to the dubbing team, get a runner's job, start chatting to the dubbing team, get in on some sessions, sit in, see if it's the kind of thing that you really, really want to do. And then, just see if it's not a busy session, see if you can sit in the booth with the artist. The artist will probably show you some bits. They'll probably let you have a go at doing some bits. And then, if you're polite, not too pushy, friendly, breezy, chances are they'll invite you back on some other sessions. And that's a good way of starting, really. From that point on, it's kind of, It's whether the post house is looking for staff at the time, and they might take you through the development process. I think the main thing to do, and it's kind of the way I looked at my career path, really, you have to be kind of flexible in media. If an opportunity comes your way, don't be afraid of exploring that opportunity. Even if it's not necessarily the direction that you thought you'd go in, you might end up where you wanted to be by taking a bit of a roundabout path. You might go down a picture editing route for a bit, because that might be the only path that's open. A lot of it's down to the needs of the industry at the time that you're looking for a position. But that doesn't mean to say that at some point you can't sidetrack and then move back to sound. And that would be my advice to anybody trying to get into Foley. The other route is to find a freelance Foley artist and see if you can apprenticeship with them. This will generally be an unpaid position. If you're lucky, they might give you some expenses. And they will basically spend a lot of time just sitting on the side watching. They'll probably use you as somebody to go and get props for them and, again, get tea and coffee and all that sort of thing. But they'll show you the ropes and hopefully they'll start getting you involved with sessions. That's kind of a bit more traditionally how it used to be, actually. It depends on what the industry is like in the particular area or country where you are. What we do have these days, which we didn't have so much of back when I started, is you have dedicated Foley facilities because, internet speeds are at a point where you can work anywhere in the world now. There are quite a few companies that have set up that just do Foley. So there'll just be a Foley house. They'll say things like, send us your film, send us a couple of grand and we'll Foley it for you and we'll send you back a complete sound Foley track. So they'd be quite good places to get in touch with as well, because again, there'll be runner positions there. There'll be, so that's a whole new opportunity of opening a door to a career that has been a bit of a weird one to fall into. Up until about 10 years ago, I'd say most people who do Foley probably fell into it. They probably started out as musicians, actors, dancers, and for whatever reason, this career path has kind of presented itself to them. But I think now you can be a little more focused if that's what you want to do, because there are more opportunities because of dedicated Foley houses, because of, certainly I don't know what it's like, again, in other countries, but there are a lot of very good television production courses and post-production courses in universities, certainly in the UK now, that are quite, actually they've got some better facilities than most professional post houses these days because they're so well funded. And quite a lot of them have Foley studios. So you can cut your teeth at university. And it's all about experience, and that's the hardest thing. There's no substitute for experience because it takes so long to kind of learn. It takes, they say, 2 years to make a good drama Foley artist, 3 years to make a good natural history Foley artist. And when I say good, I mean capable, as in you can do paid work. But you've still got a lot to learn. I'm still learning today. New ways of doing stuff. You have to have the patience to stick it out, I think. But if you want to do it, it can be done. So if I recap, runner's job with the post house, get to know the dubbing team. If you do some kind of a film course at university and you make a film and you're interested in sound, Foley your own film. Even if they don't have a Foley studio, you can do Foley in your own house. I've done it quite a lot on things that didn't have Foley budget that I've done, because I do a bit of dubbing editing as well, so I Foleyed stuff because it's been quicker for me to do it rather than track lay it or put in sound effects. And also, anybody that wants to be involved with film or television, everybody's got a mobile phone that's capable of filming and recording sound. So start making films, start making stuff for YouTube content, start doing stuff off your own back. Start building up a portfolio of work. I think there's no excuse these days. You can sit around and go, oh, well, I can't get a job in the industry, woohoo. But actually, you can get off your arse and you can start making your own films. You can start doing your own Foley. Start creating your own soundtracks. The more you do, the better you get at it. The more you do, the better you get at it. The better you get at it, the better films you make, the better soundtracks that you make. You can approach a facility and say, look, this is what I'm doing. Certainly, if you're going in for a runner's position, you can go in and you've got a portfolio of work. You can say, look, this is the stuff I'm doing. And they can say, okay, it's good. It might not be up to standard, but we can see you've got real potential. And then people start investing in time in you. And that is the key. Certainly when it comes to Foley, you need that time investment to actually be able to hone your craft.
What are some skills that are required for a Foley artist?
Good imagination and good creativity, because you have a limited amount of props in a studio. We try and have as many props as we can. I'm a terrible hoarder. I never throw anything away because everything makes some kind of a sound. But you have to be able to imagine how to use that sound. You have to have a sense of rhythm, although you need to be able to break out of that sense of rhythm. It's kind of a bit of a paradox because musicians usually make really good Foley artists. Ballet dancers make really good Foley artists. Dancers in general, in fact, and actors usually make good Foley artists. Those are the three main categories. Not to say that they're the only people that can make Foley artists or do Foley, but they're usually a very good grounding to start with. Of those three, musicians are usually the worst, especially rock or pop musicians, because rock and pop musicians are very used to working to a very tight, rhythmic, bum, 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 bum beat. And when you're doing people's footsteps, nature doesn't work like that. Nature flows, paces flow. And when you start off, you get locked into a beat. You start perfectly in sync, but you'll stay in that one beat. And they might slow down or speed up, and you'll miss it completely. Whereas dancers and classical musicians especially, and actors, they're more used to an ebb and flow. They're less regimented. So usually they find that an easier thing to get their head around than rock or pop musicians who are used to a rigid drummer tempo type thing. But you can break out of that, and it's all practice. You have to just have a passion for it, really, because when you start, the first 3 years of being a Foley artist are going to be the worst 3 years of your life. You're pretty much going to hate it every session because you're going to feel useless. You're going to feel like, I don't know what I'm doing. Everything's wrong. Everything's taking 10 takes. I'm so rubbish at this. It's awful. We're here till 4 a.m. and it's still not right. And you just have to get through that. There's no other way of learning other than going through that pain barrier. But it's worth it because once you get over that, all of a sudden it all starts clicking into place. Your footsteps are all just suddenly in sync. And then when that happens, you can really start focusing on the quality of the sound. So, yeah, you just got to go through the pain. But anybody could do it. I mean, people tell me that some people are more adept at it than others. And there are a lot of my colleagues tried Foley. A lot of the dubbing editors have tried it and just said, no, it's not for me. And to be honest, it's more of a patience thing of being able to stick it out until you've actually trained your brain to have the skills that you need.
Thanks for tuning into our video. Are there jobs out there that you want to know how to get into? Leave a comment and we'll try to get those interviews and get you all the information that you need. If you're in high school and you want to start your own podcast or your own YouTube channel, but you're not sure how to start, you can click the link below and join our internship program. We're going to teach you how to create videos, record your audios, and also treat them, write SEOs and copywriting, just all the things that you need to start your own podcast or own YouTube channel. Last but not least, if you like this content, be sure to turn on the notification bell on top so you can be notified when we release new content. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.